Australia has called for closer cooperation with China as Prime Minister Anthony Albanese pledges to work with Beijing on green steel. That's a metal produced using renewable energy.
As both countries cooperate to advance decarbonisation, we also need to work together to address global excess steel capacity. It is in both countries' interests to ensure a sustainable and market-driven global steel sector.
Mr. Albanese is on a three-city official visit to China, with regional security and efforts on growing economic ties high on the agenda. He's set to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing tomorrow. Meanwhile, Indian External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is also in Beijing. It's his first visit to China since ties plummeted in 2020 after a border clash along the line of actual control. He met with China's top diplomat Wang Yi and Vice President Han Zheng, where he noted progress in normalizing ties and stressed the importance of avoiding restrictive trade measures and roadblocks. And for more, we're joined by CNA's Deborah Wong reporting live from Shenzhen. Now, Deb, Mr. Albanese is walking quite a diplomatic tightrope here. He's trying to manage ties with both the US and also China. So what can we expect from his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping tomorrow?
So trade issues will no doubt take a very high priority during the dialogue tomorrow because both sides are seeking closer ties against the backdrop of U.S. global tariffs. Now, the issue of green iron is, something that is a very much concern for both sides, following industry talks today to seek deeper collaboration on decarbonization. Now, we could perhaps also look at some formal agreements that both leaders could potentially discuss. After all, Australia is very keen to secure its status, its position as a top exporter of iron ore to China. Now, both sides are also expected to discuss deals on new areas, emerging areas like artificial intelligence, as well as the digital economy. In the lead up to this meeting, when we talk about security, the US has also pressured Australia to clarify its role in the event that China invades Taiwan. Now, the Prime Minister himself said that Australia opposes any unilateral moves to change the Taiwan Strait status quo. Even so, he has, in the lead-up to this meeting, backed his foreign minister's comments, concerns, that China is expanding military capability in the region. So Australia's involvement in the AUKUS submarine pact, for instance, has not set well with Beijing because Beijing has viewed it as a counterweight to its own military presence in the region. But Trump's review of the AUKUS submarine pact has also caused some tensions among the pact members, which includes Australia. So it will be really interesting to see how Albanese navigates this conversation if it does come up in the days ahead.
And Deb, meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister is in Beijing for the first time since 2020. At that time, tensions were escalating over military confrontations along the China-India border. So how are both sides working to improve relations more now?
I think with the visit, we are seeing a very concerted attempt to normalize relations, especially since both sides are celebrating 75 years of diplomatic ties. Jaishankar's visit is especially symbolic because this is his first time visiting China since the border clashes, the Gowan Valley border clash in 2020, which was really the turning point between China and India's relationship. Ties soured after that, but it is on the mend right now. Jaishankar said that during his visit today, he said that the continued normalization of ties will no doubt bring mutual benefits to both sides. And he also said that this visit basically maintains that positive trajectory. He also mentioned that India supports the successful Chinese presidency in the SCO. Now, Chinese Vice President Han Zheng, on his part, called on both sides to implement the consensus reached by the two leaders last October. Now, during that meeting, both sides agreed to ensure peace in the border areas. They also agreed to cooperate on development areas as well as to be responsible leaders in the global south. So we see that beyond the show of diplomacy, works are still carrying on. They are working towards direct flight resumption between China and India. They have also commended several high-level meetings. So we can see that ties are really on the mend. Back to you.
Deborah, thank you so much for bringing us the latest. That was CNA's Deborah Wong reporting live from Shenzhen.